Well, my timing was off, but it looks like my prediction on Trump is going to come true. Breaking: Trump administration preparing draft order to declare national emergency to fund wall. The White House is preparing a draft of an emergency declaration President Trump could issue to secure funding for a wall along the southern border, CNN reported Thursday. The news outlet obtained internal documents that show the administration has identified more than $7 billion in funding for the wall if Trump opts to declare a national emergency. The draft declaration argues that the massive amount of aliens who unlawfully enter the United States each day is a direct threat to the safety and security of our nation and constitutes a national emergency, CNN reported. The administration would look to pull most of the money for the wall from military construction and Pentagon civil works funds, with additional funding coming from Treasury forfeitures and the Department of Homeland Security, CNN reported. The declaration has been updated within the past weeks, an official told CNN. Okay, so this is what I've been predicting. Donald Trump, when he gave a speech from the Oval Office, and then he gave another speech a few days later, for both those speeches, I said, okay, he's going to do it now, I bet. He's going to announce that he's declaring a national emergency and he's going to build the wall without approval from Congress. My prediction was wrong those two times, but it looks like my prediction ultimately will be correct, and it's just a matter of when he decides to pull the trigger on it. Now, the other part of my prediction is this is going to get tied up in court because there's 100% guaranteed to be litigation over this. And I think that it honestly depends. If the courts are all massively right-leaning, they might let it slide. But if they're being honest and they're being accurate, they would say, this is unconstitutional. You can't do this. And also, listen, if he does this and let's say it gets approved, well, that sets a precedent that the Republicans will come to regret pretty quickly when any actual left-wing president gets elected and he wants to declare a national emergency or she wants to declare a national emergency to fix our healthcare system or to wipe the student loan debt slate clean or do any of those things. Like, if you set the precedent of the president gets to act on his own to approve funding for whatever he or she thinks is a national emergency, well, look out. Because then, we're going to be functioning a hell of a lot more like a dictatorship than a democratic system of government. I mean, already in many instances, we act more like a dictatorship. But this would be a step further on that path, down that road. And President Bernie Sanders declaring a national emergency and doing a Medicare for All system, that's a possibility if Donald Trump does this, gets his wall, and then it somehow stands up in court. I don't think it could hold up in court, though. I really don't. I don't think... Because here's the thing. I think a court would have to look at the question of whether or not this objectively is a national emergency. And any court that's being honest on that front is going to go, it's just not a national emergency. You say it's a national emergency. It's your pet issue that you care about the most. But like the thing that they cite in the draft, I'm not kidding, and you just heard me run through it. Massive amount of aliens who unlawfully enter the United States each day is a direct threat to the safety and security of our nation. But that is empirically incorrect. We've gone over the studies. In fact, undocumented immigrants and documented immigrants, respectively, they commit less crime than native-born citizens. So you cannot make the claim that these undocumented immigrants are a direct threat to the security and safety of our nation when they have a lower crime rate than native citizens. That doesn't make any sense. It's just not true. You're just wrong. Now, I get it. In your circles, in right-wing circles, they like to over-focus on the crimes of immigrants to try to make the case, to do what's called demagoguing, to try to make the case, see, there's such a big problem, there's such a giant problem. It's not me, this is the fact of the matter. So obviously we need to crack down on immigration because they're criminals. But I just told you, the statistics show that they commit crime at a lower rate. So you're not, I mean, if any court looks at that fact, okay, you want to declare a national emergency and address this issue that way? Well, step number one is this actually a national emergency? And when they come back with the answer of no, they're going to slap down your fucking shitty wall. So I think he'll try to do this. It'll get, caught up in court. There's no way that they'll finish building the wall and then next administration could just reverse it immediately. So we'll see what happens. But we're getting into some weird, funky territory, and I'm very curious to see how it unfolds.